I was the only one still awake on top of that mountain. I heard something moving fast through the grass close enough that I knew before I could see anything that we weren't the only ones there. I sat up with my arms still in my sleeping bag that was hugged tight around my body. I remember thinking, if something attacks us, I'm the only one who knows it's coming. We were far from the city lights, the sky was clear and the stars were bright, and we were so high up that it felt like I was looking down on the stars. The grass around us was tall and thick, but beaten down, too low to make a sound from blowing in the wind, but tall enough to hear something moving through it. The sound didn't stop, it got louder, and there was more of it. I jumped to my feet, and to this day, I have no idea how I got out of my sleeping bag so fast. Not only was I scared, but my body was shocked by the cold air. The temperature had probably dipped down into the 40s, and all I had on was my short socks and a t-shirt. My friends and I were on spring break, and it was night 2 of backpacking the Appalachian Trail along a stretch called the Roan Highlands, almost a straight line on the North Carolina-Tennessee border. I was hiking with borrowed gear and a cheap, thin fleece sleeping bag, which made sense when I bought it, but not on a bald mountain at 40 degrees. For some reason, we didn't set up the tents that night, so my friends were laying on the bare ground, curled up in their sleeping bags around in a circle, but there was no campfire because there was no sticks or logs nearby to make a fire. I remember how fast my heart was beating, how quickly I forgot about the cold, and how my friends on the ground stayed still, as well as all the stars above me while everything around me was moving. I looked down at my friends, hoping one of them would jump up with me, but they were all fast asleep and completely oblivious to what was happening. I heard more of the sound, but now it was closer, and I let out a little bit of a not a scream, just a Whatever was out there was now so close, I could make out enough silhouettes from the light of the stars that I could tell that it was a herd of deer. They were running fast and probably just noticing our camp in time for each one of them to pick one side or the other as they passed. After they had all ran by, I heard nothing for a moment and then started hearing something else coming from the same direction the deer had come from, but the sound was different. More of the grass sounded like it was being moved. I saw flashes of movement, but I couldn't make out any shapes. I knew that this must have been what the deer were running from. We weren't in bear country, and there weren't wolves in the area. I knew it had to be coyotes. Coyotes often let out some yips or may stop to howl, but these ones must have been in stealth mode because the only sound they made was from pushing through the grass at high speed. They passed in seconds and it was over. I remember standing there completely exposed to the elements and vulnerable, my heartbeat starting to slow down as the sounds faded and the mountaintop was silent again under the stars, and I realized that these animals do this kind of thing many nights up here on this mountain. They just weren't the only ones here this time.